कृष्ण महामंत्र की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश, श्री श्री गौरनिताय की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की, समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So on the auspicious occasion of the upcoming Bhadra Purnima festival, I will speak on the glories of Srimad-Bhagavatam, the different prayers which the devotees are seeking through the Srimad-Bhagavatam various sections, and I have divided this into 8 categories. When we come in front of the Lord, the Srimad-Bhagavatam is sharing with us what should be the standard for our prayer and desire. Just like you have a water refinery, you have an oil refinery, that which refines, purifies. So the Srimad-Bhagavatam is a desire refinery. When you allow your consciousness to percolate through the words and the sound vibration of Srimad-Bhagavatam, just like water gets refined and purified, oil gets refined and purified, our desires also get refined and purified by the words of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. And we will speak this in the context of also the divine appearance day of Srila Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and also the appearance day of Vamanadev. So this will be a 2-part lectures today and tomorrow. I'll try to cover, some of those desires and prayers today and some tomorrow during our Sunday program. Srila Sanatan Goswami Pad, one of the 6 Goswamis, when he opened the door one fine morning, he found one saintly person standing there with a copy of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. And when Srila Sanatan Goswami received that Srimad-Bhagavatam as a gift, he immediately embraced that Bhagavatam close to his heart, and offering his heartfelt prayers, he composed a series of verses in glorification of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. One of those prayers, he says, Madeka bandho mat sangi, mat guru mat mahadana, mat nistaraka mahabhagya madananda namostute. This Srimad-Bhagavatam is my dearest friend, Madeka bandho, my only well-wisher, mat sangi. The Srimad-Bhagavatam is my eternal companion. Mad Guru, Srimad-Bhagavatam is my spiritual teacher. Mat Mahadhana, the knowledge and the realizations of the devotees coming out from the pages of Srimad-Bhagavatam is my real wealth. Mat Nistaraka, this Srimad-Bhagavatam is my deliverer from the material world. Mahabhagya, this Srimad-Bhagavatam is the cause of all good fortune for me. Madananda Namostute, this Srimad-Bhagavatam is the only bliss I have in life. So therefore, the first prayer which all of us should offer to Krishna, as seen in the pages of Srimad-Bhagavatam, is, let us pray for the association of devotees always. Because the book Bhagavatam, the Srimad-Bhagavatam, the book, can only be understood in the association of devotees, not otherwise. So therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, who was the younger brother of Srila Sanatan Goswami, when he wrote the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he described the context in which the Bhagavatam can be understood. Srimad Bhagavata Arthanam Aswadai Rathikaisah Sajati Ashaye Snigdhe Sadhu Sangha Swatovare. Srimad Bhagavat's meaning can only be understood and relished. Aswado Rasikaisah, with Rasikas, those who have entered into the flavor of the mood of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sajati Ashaye Snigdhe, with such devotees who have similar mood, Sajatiya. Snigdhe, whose heart is also melting with love for Krishna. Snigdha comes from the Sanskrit word sneha, which literally means clarified butter or ghee in Sanskrit. The quality of ghee is it burns to offer light. So, the nature of love is one is willing to burn oneself for the pleasure of the beloved. One is willing to go through pain to give pleasure to the object of love. Pragada premera ei swabhava achar nija dukkha bignadir no kore bichar. The Chaitanya Charitamrita describes the gold standard of love as demonstrated by Srila Madhavendra Puri. And Srila Madhavendra Puri went through a lot of pain to get the chandan or the sandalwood for Gopal. In that episode, this verse describes the consciousness of Madhavendra Puri. What is love? So the love word is very commonly used. Chaitanya Charitamrita is speaking about love. Srimad Bhagavatam is speaking about love. Bollywood is speaking about love. Hollywood is speaking about love. Novels are speaking about love. So what exactly is love? People will get confused. I tell the story when we started the Govinda's restaurant in Chowpatty in 2004-05. Radhanath Swami told us we should have pizza in our restaurant. And in 2004-05 we had no idea what is pizza in the Brahmachari ashram at Chowpatty. We only had like a brahmachari who used to make some pizza in his own version. He would take some bread and put some tomatoes, ketchup on top and fry some brinjals and put it on top. And that fried brinjal version of pizza was the pizza we knew. So when Maharaj said we should have pizza, I said, I don't think it is worth selling in a restaurant. Then Maharaj looked at me and said, which pizza are you talking about? The one which you guys feed me with? I said, yeah, that's the only one we know. And Maharaj said, that's not pizza, that's a perverted reflection of pizza. Then we had His Holiness Gunagrahi Swami Maharaj, and he had his recipe and he taught it to Kaustuba Prabhu from New York. He came and he taught us the authentic version. Then we realized, oh, this is pizza. That was something we were calling as pizza. So like that, people speak about love, but real love is something different. That's what the Chaitanya Charitamrita is helping us redefine the paradigm. So Srila Prabhupada mentions love means service without selfish consideration. Which means in every relationship there are 4 major challenges. And you may think there are more than 4. But Srila Prabhupada focuses on 4 major challenges in every relationship. Every relationship has these 4 issues. There is scarcity, impediment, discomfort, and unhappiness. When in any relationship, in spite of scarcity, impediment, discomfort, and unhappiness, the relationship continues, it is called love. Bahu parishrama chandana remuna anila ananda badila mane dukkhana ganila. And so Srila Madhavendra Puri continued and did a lot of austerity, and the kind of austerities he performed was Bahu Parishrama. A lot of anxiety he went through in his seva to bring this chandan. But when we go through anxiety, if we calculate that anxiety, keep a track of those anxieties, keep a list of all the troubles I have gone through, keep a list of all the pain which I have taken, keep an account of that. I did this. Keeping account is called business. Because when you are giving, when you are expecting in return, that is business. When you are only giving, and forgiving, and not expecting anything in return, that is love. So therefore, he says here, Ananda badila mane dukkha na ganila. Ganila means to keep account, to count. He did not count the dukkha. So therefore, from a regular ritualistic visit and worship in the temple, Srimad-Bhagavatam is bringing us to a different level of consciousness. You know, I see so many Indians, most of you may have been Hindus, we have been visiting temples, but our idea of temple worship was, I am in the spotlight playing in the stadium, and God is in the spectator stand, watching us and supporting us and cheering for us. And I pray that may my game continue. That's the typical worship. Before I came to ISKCON, then when I connected with ISKCON, came to Srimad-Bhagavatam, I realized God is the player. I am a spectator. So the roles reversed. And therefore I realized that things are happening as per His will, and we are simply instruments in His will. I went to somebody's house, I was about to give, leave from there, and I said, let me give Bhagavatam in your home in the morning. So I said, can you get me the 6th canto? And they brought the whole Srimad-Bhagavatam set right in front of me and started opening the plastic cover in front of me. I said, this Bhagavatam set has been in your house for how many years? And they were scratching their head. Quite a few years, you know. I said, you never opened it. And they said, we were waiting for you only. So believe me, when you connect with the Srimad-Bhagavatam, what changes? The problem will not change. Many people think going to temple means, may the problem disappear. My dear Lord, forgive me. May the problem dissipate. May you remove the problem. No. The Srimad-Bhagavatam doesn't help us remove the problem. It doesn't help us change the problem. It only helps us change our perspective towards the problem. So therefore, in modern context, if anybody goes through problem, they go to the psychiatrist and take the pill. So those who are followers of the ancient wisdom, followers of Srimad-Bhagavatam, we are proposing that we have an alternative to the pill, which is perspective. Just by having a different perspective, your ability to cope with the problem enhances million times. Because there are only two categories of souls in this world. One, those who go through pain. And second, those who go through pain and know the purpose behind the pain. There is no third category of those who don't go through pain. So 100% of the souls in this world go through pain. But there are only two categories. Those who go through pain without knowing why we are going through this pain, and the second category gets to know why we are going through this pain. And that's why Srila Prabhupada said, go and distribute my books so that people understand what is the purpose behind my pain. And therefore I feel so proud sitting here in Rukmini Dwarkadish temple at Los Angeles, ISKCON, which has been the epicenter of producing, printing and distributing millions of Srila Prabhupada books all over the world since last 50 years. Congratulations to you. So therefore, do not expect a life without pain. Pain will continue. But to know the purpose behind the pain is a big luxury. And that's what the Srimad-Bhagavatam is doing. And that purpose we understand only in the association of devotees. And so, when Parikshit Maharaj, who saw Krishna within the womb of his mother, Angushtham Matram Amalam Spurat Puratamaulinam Apivya Darshanam Shyamam Tadita Vasasamachyutam. Parikshit saw Krishna in the womb of his mother. And then he came out, having seen Krishna. So one may think, oh, he's the most fortunate. And therefore his name was given Tasmat Namna Vishnurata iti loke bhavishyati na samdeho mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan. One name of Parikshit is Vishnu Rata, who is protected by Lord Vishnu. Most fortunate, but one who saw Vishnu in the womb of his mother is suddenly now cursed to die in 7 days and 7 nights. Is that fair? One who has seen Krishna in the womb, now suddenly, the most fortunate has gone through such misfortune. And what is the cause? One glass of water. If someone says, can a glass of water kill anybody? You say, even if I throw the glass of water on somebody's face with full force, still it cannot kill. Parikshit was thirsty, and he was thirsty for a glass of water. It is not water which gives life or kills. It is Krishna's will. And he can use even a glass of water. if he has decided that someone's time is up. Right? And therefore the nature of this world is, as I said, you cannot avoid death, pain, disease, old age. Nature of this material world is, it is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Material world is a place of misery. A reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, what is the purpose of this world? And Srila Prabhupada said, enjoyment. And the reporter started smiling. And Prabhupada said, not yours, Krishna's. Krishna's enjoyment. So people think, how can I get pleasure? This place is a place of death. There was this young man who was a bachelor. He was living with his mother and he had a small cat. He was very attached to his cat. He was going abroad. He told his friend, I am going abroad. Please keep updating me about what is going on in my family, okay? Then he goes abroad. Then he gets a letter from his friend. And he opens the letter. And the letter begins, my dear friend, sorry to say, your cat is dead. And this guy becomes very angry and upset. He writes a letter back to his friend. Dear friend, this is not the way of breaking bad news. Cat is dead. You should have begun the letter by saying, my dear friend, your cat is doing well. Sometimes the cat walks on the roof of the house. Then you should have ended the letter. Next letter you should have sent after 15 days and said, my dear friend, when the cat was walking on the roof, it fell down and unfortunately broke its leg. But we have taken to the hospital and the treatment is on, and you should have ended the letter. And then after 15 days you should have sent one more letter. My dear friend, in the midst of everybody chanting the holy names, the cat departed to the heavenly abode. That is how I would expect you to write a letter about such a news, not that cat is dead. So when the friend received the letter, then again after a month, this guy abroad got the letter. And he opened, and the letter began by saying, my dear friend, your mother is doing well. Sometimes she is walking on the roof. Whichever way you approach, the reality of this material world cannot be changed. And therefore, here Parikshit is the emperor and he's saying, Tammopayantam pratiyantu vipra ganga cha devi dhritajitamishe Dvijopasrishta kuhakastakshako va dashatvalam gayata Vishnu gatha. He is saying, I am cursed to die in 7 days and 7 nights by this young Brahmana boy Shringi. But I am surrounding myself by the devotees sitting on the bank of river Ganga, who is the witness. And what is my desire? Materialistic people are afraid of the destruction of their body, but I am afraid of the distraction of my mind at the moment of death. Mahatsuyamyam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. May all these devotees surrounding me go on speaking about Krishna, glorifying Krishna, so that my mind is focused on the Lord at the moment of death. That is Parikshit Maharaj's desire. And he realizes, I can only do this in the association of devotees. Maya dasi prema mage ithe ki vismay sadhu kripa nama bina prema na janmay. Thakur Haridas, his conviction in chanting the holy names is so powerful that when Maya Devi comes to test Thakur Haridas, she surrenders to him and starts begging for prema. Maya dasi prema mage ithe ki vismay. What is so astonishing about it? Sadhu kripa nama bina prema na janmay. Prema cannot manifest without these two things. The mercy of the devotees, sadhu kripa, and second, pure chanting of the holy names. And therefore, Parikshit at the moment of death is not thinking, oh, I am so unfortunate, I am going to die. He is thinking, I am so fortunate, I am surrounded by devotees who are going to give me entrance into eternal life. Vayam dhanyatama loke guropi kshatra bandhava vayam pibamo muhustatta punyam krishna kathamritam. Parikshit is saying there are three categories of people in this world: fortunate, more fortunate, and most fortunate. Who is fortunate? One who gets association of devotees. Vaishnav Satsanga is fortunate. Who's more fortunate? One who gets to hear and chant in that association of devotees is more fortunate. Lord Chaitanya therefore says, Keha nache keha gaye Sri Krishna Gopal Premete bhasil loka Stri Briddha Abal. Lord Chaitanya allowed everyone to chant the holy names irrespective of their background, the association. And to get to hear and chant in the association, Lord Chaitanya tells Sanatan Goswami, Bhajanera madhye sreshtha navavida bhakti Krishna prema Krishna dite dhore mahashakti. Amongst the process of bhajan, Navida Bhakti, the ninefold process, is the highest. And in that, Nama Sankirtan is the highest. Tara Madhye Sarva Sreshtha Nama Sankirtan Nir Aparadhe Nama Loile Paye Premadhan. Offenseless chanting of the holy names is the highest in that. So to get to hear and chant in the association is more fortunate. To get Sangha is fortune. To get to hear and chant in that Sangha is a sign of someone who is more fortunate. So the question is, who is most fortunate? One who gets prasad after that? Today is Ekadashi, so we don't know whether you will get something. No, don't worry. You have nice prasad. Who is most fortunate? One who gets to hear and chant repeatedly in that association is the most fortunate. So as per the standards of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada has established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, where devotees come together and hear and chant repeatedly, every single day, and invite everybody to participate in this. So just by connecting with this association, you are getting entrance into the category of becoming most fortunate. So therefore, that is what the association is doing. So, we had a devotee in our medical school who was always preaching Krishna consciousness day and night. I would tell him, Baba, you are in medical school, tomorrow you will become doctor. You have a very important responsibility, better study. He said, Arey, don't worry, I have heard your lectures regularly. I said, Baba, my lectures are on Bhagavad Gita. I am talking, you study your medical book. Arey, he said, I remember your shloka, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. My devotee will never perish. So I said, Baba, that doesn't mean Krishna is saying devotee will never fail in exam. Says, no, I have faith. Yoga Kshemam Mahamyam. So one day before exam, he was standing in front of the deities of Radha Gopinath and praying half an hour. I got worried. What is he praying? Why is he spending time in front of the deities? He should be in front of his books. I said to him, what did you pray? He said, I prayed to Radha Gopinath that whole campus knows that I represent Hare Krishna movement in the campus. And tomorrow is exam. And the results will come. So I said to the Lord, my dear Lord, the future of Hare Krishna movement in the campus is in your hand. You decide. If I pass, Hare Krishna gets credibility. If I fail, it's in your hand. 3 months later, the results came, he passed. So on that day I had gone for a lecture in the hostel. Usually for my lecture, 8 or 9 students would come. For prasadam, 40, 50 would come. That was the average. Many of them would open the door of the room during the lecture and look inside and look at me and say, hey, not yet over. Lecture is not yet over. And they will be angry and close the door and go. They would think I am like barrier between them and prasad. That day for the lecture, 45 students were sitting. I checked the room number again. Did I come to the right room? I asked one of the students, why so many have come? And they took the name of that devotee who was always preaching and who passed miraculously. And he said, if that guy can pass the exam, it means Krishna has to be the Supreme Personality of God. That's why we came, to figure out what's going on here. So therefore, the association of devotees is where Shraddha or faith in the Lord manifests. And so Parikshit Maharaj is praying here. In case at the moment of death I am not able to remember Krishna, what should be my, all of us keep our plan B ready, What's my plan B? So in the next verse he expresses his plan B. And he says, anybody who comes in front of the deities, you come in front of Rukmini Dwarka, you should be praying for these 3 things. Punascha bhuyat bhagavati ananta ratih prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsuyamyam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhya. The first thing we should pray, may I develop unlimited attraction towards Krishna. Second, that attraction can only manifest when I develop genuine feeling in the association of devotees. And third, may I develop the potency and the power to distribute Krishna's mercy amongst the conditioned souls. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya gave these 3 principles: Name Ruchi, Vaishnav Seva, and Jibe Daya. Name Ruchi means the intention to serve. The aspiration to serve. Please engage me in your seva. That is called the aspiration to serve. That is sadhana. Then, what is seva? Actions to serve. And then what is jive daya, compassion or prachar, preaching? It is giving conditioned souls access to serve. So the common word in all three is serve. Bhakti means to serve, devotional service. So whether you are chanting the holy names or facilitating chanting in the temple or facilitating others to come to the temple, you're all engaged with seva. Aspiration to serve, action to serve, and access to serve. Therefore, the three most important principles in devotional service is absorption in service, absorption in sadhana, then intensity in our seva, and sensitivity in our dealings with other sevaks or devotees. So when we are absorbed in our sadhana, intense in our seva, and sensitive in our dealings with other sevaks, we make rapid spiritual advancement. And therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says, Sushila Sahishnu Shanta Vadanya Gambhir Madhura Vachana Madhura Cheshta Mahadhir. He speaks about the great devotee Srila Haridas Pandit, who was the follower of Srila Rupa Goswami and the Mahant of Sri Radha Govinda Mandir. And he says, yet the ideal qualities of a devotee is Sushila, well behaved, Sahishnu, tolerant, Shanta, very, very quiet and self-controlled, Vadanya, very magnanimous, Gambhir, very grave, Madhur Vachan, very mellow in his speech, Madhur Cheshta, very mellow in his dealings, Mahadhir, very sober, Sabar Sammana Karta, Korin Sabar Hit, Kautilya Matsarya Himsa Na Jane Tarachit. Always giving respect to others. Koren Sabar Hit, always benefiting others. Kautilya Matsarya Himsa, free from fault finding, free from envy, free from tendency for violence. Vaishnavera gunagrahi no dekhaye dosh, koi mane vakye kore, Vaishnava santosh. And therefore we should always try to see the good qualities in the devotees and not see the fault. Knowing that we are dependent on the devotees' grace for developing our attraction towards Krishna, pleasing Krishna, and thus Krishna will give us the power to remember Him. Mattah smriti jnanam apohanam cha. And therefore, in that association, we always remember the holy names of the Lord and remember Krishna. Thakur Bhakti Vinod spent 11 years searching for one copy of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in Bengal, just 400 years after Lord Chaitanya departed from this world. He put his life and soul to relocate Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's original birthplace. Gurudam Granthadam Gaura Dhamadam Namadam Muda Bhaktidam Bhuridam Bande Bhakti Vinodakam Sada. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he composed this verse in glorification of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And he says, Gurudam, he gave us Guru, which is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, one of the sons of Thakur Bhakti Vinod. Granthadam, he gave us many, many literatures. Being the district magistrate, very busy person, handling heavy responsibility, but managed to write more than 150 books. What kind of a daily schedule he had where he was practically sleeping only 2 hours. And compared to the other judges, when other judges would take 4 hours to give a judgment, he would give a judgment within hardly 10 minutes. What level of efficiency he had. So he gave a lot of books. Gurudam, Granthadam, Gaura Dhamadam. He gave the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Revealed it. Namadam. He gave us the secret of how to chant the holy names by giving books like Bhajan Rahasya, Harinama Chintamani. Bhaktidam. He gave us the method of practicing bhakti. Bhuridam Vande Bhakti Vinodakam Sada. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that Thakur Bhakti Vinod is an expansion of Srila Gadadhar Pandit. And Gadadhar Pandit is Srimati Radharani, but manifested in a way where he could not ever counter Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, always within the shadow of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would not agree with many things which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would do, but he could never protest. He was always in the shadow. And therefore, the Acharyas have written about Gaur Gadadhar. So Gadadhar Pandit was always in the mood of submitting himself completely in serving the Lord in every possible way. Not able to express himself many times, but always supporting, facilitating, surrendering himself. Lord Chaitanya would spend hours and hours studying the Srimad-Bhagavatam in the association of Gadadhar Pandit in Tota Gopinath temple. In fact, the copy of Srimad-Bhagavatam Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would study was smeared with his tears, and the ink was also smudged because of the bhav. Because Gadadhar Pandit was always in the shadow of Lord Chaitanya, he appeared on Amavasya and he disappeared also in Amavasya, on the new moon night. So similarly, Gadadhar Pandit disappeared on the new moon night, Amavasya, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also disappeared on the same day as the disappearance day of Gadadhar Pandit, which is just 2 days before Rath Yatra. And therefore, Thakur Bhaktivinoda, he was the person who revived the Krishna consciousness movement, and he understood that this message need not be localized only in Bengal. Nobody thought like that. In 19th century Bengal, to think that this Bengali Chaitanya Charitamrita, this Bengali text, would be spread across the world in more than 120 countries. Nobody imagined. All of us are from, many of us here sitting are from India. We never heard about either Lord Chaitanya or the Goswamis or even Mayapur, Navdeep. We never heard. All of you sitting in America, Prabhupada disciples, you heard about all this before us. Otherwise we never heard. There used to be one Bollywood magazine called Mayapuri in Hindi. That is what we knew. But Srila Prabhupada, Thakur Bhaktivinoda in 1896, he wrote that book, Lord Chaitanya, Life and Precepts, and presented that in McGill University in Canada. Same year Srila Prabhupada appeared. So therefore it was his vision that this can spread all over the world. And his son, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 7, 8 had memorized entire Bhagavad Gita, and by the age of 14, 15 had studied Chaitanya Charitamrita and wanted to publish Govinda Lilamrita, very esoteric text written by Kaviraj Goswami on the very high leelas of the Lord and rasas and everything. And he was insisting, I want to publish, I want to publish. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, okay, you publish one copy for yourself, not more. So Thakur Bhaktivinoda was at the forefront, and because of him, Srila Prabhupada, somebody asked, if Thakur Bhaktivinoda brought the Lord Chaitanya's book to West in 1896, why he himself did not also go and spread the movement? Srila Prabhupada said, he left some seva for me also. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami says, Chaitanya lila ratnasar swarupera bhandar teho thuila raghuna tera kanthe taha kichu je shunilu taha iha vistarilu bhakta gana dilu ei bhete. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are like jewels. Swarupera bhandar, and Swarup Damodar Goswami had those jewels. And he placed those jewels in the throat of Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami, sitting on the bank of Radhakund, spoke about Lord Chaitanya's Leela. Taha kichu jeshunilu. Whatever I heard from him, Kaviraj Goswami says, Taha iha bistarilu. That's what I am repeating here. Bhakta gana dilu ei bhete. That I am presenting as gifts to the devotees. जेबा नहीं बुझे के ह सुनिते सुनिते से ह कि अद्भुत चैतन्य चरित्र कृष्णे उपजीवे प्रीति जानिबे रोषेर रीति सुनिलय बड़ होए हित. Kaviraj Goswami says, someone may say, I don't understand Bengali, I can't understand Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, don't worry, even if you don't understand, read it. Shunite shunite se, keep hearing repeatedly. Why? Gradually bhakti will grow, rasa will manifest. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, time will come, people will try to understand the Bengali language just to understand and appreciate the nuances of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan. This was the construction of Krishna Balram temple going on. They were staying in Fogala ashram, and the devotees in the morning were going towards the site of the Krishna Balram temple. On the way, a Brajavasi was selling some sweets. He called the devotees and said, I want to give the first lot of sweets to the devotees today. Free. So, you don't need too much of invitation for that. So the devotees started eating the sweets, and suddenly Srila Prabhupada's car went by. And Srila Prabhupada's car passed by the devotees. The devotees, they didn't know what to do because it was too sudden for them to hide anything. So they had sandesh in hand, rasgulla in hand, and jalebi and all of these Bengali sweets. Srila Prabhupada's car went ahead. They thought, oh, Prabhupada went ahead. It stopped, and the car came back and stood right in front of the devotees. And now the devotees had rasgulla on one side of the mouth and sandesh. They couldn't hide anywhere. And Prabhupada rolled down the window of his car, looked out and looked at all the devotees. And the devotees didn't know what to react. And Srila Prabhupada, with a big smile, he said, Bengali sweets essential for life. The devotees were very happy that Prabhupada is not chastising us. 2-3 years later, Srila Prabhupada was at some program, a college program here in California, and the devotees had set up a book table and a prasadam stall. And when Prabhupada came out after the event, one devotee was from that episode. He remembered, he immediately took some sandesh and showed it to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, Bengali sweets. Srila Prabhupada immediately picked up the Chaitanya Charitamrita and he said, this is the real Bengali sweet. And that Chaitanya Charitamrita was printed and published thanks to the efforts of the devotees from here in ISKCON Sri Sri Rukmini Dwarkadish Temple, Los Angeles. And therefore, whenever I am studying the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I am always placing the dust of all of your lotus feet on my head. Because if this Chaitanya Charitamrita was not translated into English and published and printed, even though we are in India, we are not going to be studying Bengali and Sanskrit to access this Chaitanya Charitamrita. And therefore, what Srila Prabhupada has done is he has given us the association of not just the devotees within the ISKCON society. He has given us the association of the Acharyas. He has given us association of Lord Chaitanya and his associates. So when we speak about association and praying for that association, it goes beyond this association. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Charaner Eibal Jara Smrite Siddha Hoye Vanchita Sakal. It is not possible to fulfill desires in bhakti and be able to complete devotional service and perform seva without the grace of the Acharya Parampara. And therefore, when we face difficulties and challenges in our seva, we should remember the Goswamis, Shri Rupa Raghunatha Charaner Eibal, their lotus feet has such power. By remembering those lotus feet, all our desires in seva will be fulfilled. Obstacles will be removed. And therefore, we should know that association is a dynamic thing. It's a dynamic, potent, active ingredient in our devotional service. And therefore, that is what the Srimad-Bhagavatam is all about. The association of devotees is what the Srimad-Bhagavatam is providing. And this association is not only the book Bhagavata, but the person Bhagavata. We will continue describing and extolling the glories of the Srimad-Bhagavatam in our tomorrow's Sunday lecture, which is at what time? 12:30. So 12:30, after the come for the noon arati, and after that we'll continue. Thank you very much. Shri Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish Bhagavan ki, Shri Gauranga ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki, Tai Gop Premanandi.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. We would like to thank Gauranga Prabhu again by loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Prabhuji's class reminded us of the importance of association. Association is everything. And that by reading the Srimad-Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, one is receiving the association that has the power to transform our lives. So if you felt inspired by tonight's class, please take home a set of Srimad-Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita. We have them available here at the temple. And we're willing to make sure everyone can take home a set, even if you are on a budget. So we also take orders and ship to your home. And if you already have a set, you can also sponsor for another person or for a local college student who can't afford a set of Srimad-Bhagavatams but wants one. So you can see myself or any of the other brahmacharis here if you're interested. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे